The road to WrestleMania continues, playa. This is SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. I am your host, Attack Slug, and this is still Batista and Rey Mysterio. And while Mysterio did win the Royal Rumble yesterday, it seems like Batista will get a shot at Edge, the World Heavyweight Champion. But also, Edge needs 2 spears. Count them, 2 spears. And Edge is teaming with Big Daddy V for reasons? Isn't he an ECW guy? Like, what even is the... Okay, sure, fine. On this day, he sees clearly. Anyway, welcome to a... Oh, man, Big Daddy V. Yep. Speaking of heavyweights. Good God almighty. Yeah. Well, alright then. Anyway, it is a fine Thursday afternoon here on the show. If you're wondering, as I record this at 10:30 a.m., I am still waiting on the VR stuff for Fastlane. You can see here, there are 2 headsets behind me. I'm waiting. I looked this morning, when I got up this morning at like 7 or 8 o'clock, they weren't up yet. So they said Thursday. They didn't say when on Thursday. So hopefully, by the time that this video goes up, they'll be up and I'll have some kind of impressions of that on Twitter or whatever. The problem with that is that doing a video of that, if you include direct feed anything from actual video of wrestling, even if it's in VR, that is a danger to your YouTube channel and content strikes, and it's a whole mess. So you don't want to provide direct feed of any actual WWE video. I try my utmost to avoid any of that because it is a nightmare here on YouTube, and I'm not risking my channel for some stupid VR video. It's just not going to happen. So I'm hoping to maybe have that on Tuesday-ish to bring it over and show it to Rod and Todd and Grim, and then film them looking, with the headset, and then, like, here's an off-screen very briefly. Because if you do it like that, then they kind of won't catch it. But providing direct feed is a phenomenally bad idea. Just terrible. Terrible. Anyway. So yeah, I'm still waiting. Samsung VR and PSVR. Still waiting. Anyway. Into the wrestling news. Oh, referee getting a bulldog. Into the wrestling news for this fine Thursday, outside of this supposed VR thing happening at some point today, I don't know when, is that, man, having to issue another retraction on a story from yesterday that was a story from the day before that just keeps going, and that is Ronda Rousey, who was not at Raw, and then was removed from all events up to Mania outside of that last go-home show in Atlanta, has been added back to all those shows. So, once again, Ronda Rousey will supposedly be at all of the shows on the way to WrestleMania. That wasn't a spear. That was a jackhammer. What is this Goldberg nonsense? So, once again, we will supposedly have Ronda Rousey on every Raw going up to WrestleMania. Supposedly. They could change their mind again. You never know with that stuff. So, that's good. I mean, if they can book that in a good way, I'm all about it. Alright, I'm gonna try. It's gonna be running. A running signature, I think, might be the case here for the spear. If not, I don't know how to do the spear. So, no, it didn't work. Oh, okay, yes, it was a running move. Anyway, never mind me botching it all over the place here, like Sin Cara, or like the original Sin Cara, the Shockmaster, if you will. All right, Edge, get up, spear. New Japan, supposedly, will have another show, or they're trying to book another show for this summer. And that will be either June or July, and supposedly in the Cow Palace, in San Francisco. So, cool. They have their show in Long Beach, in like, next Sunday? And that will supposedly still have Rey Mysterio fighting Yushin Thunder Liger. Supposedly. We'll see. Depends on the actual extent of the injury to the bicep of Ray. So, who knows? So I did 2 spears, and now it's just going to be time for Batista Bomb. Anyway. Get in there, Ray. Help me out. Referee, you better count. Ref. A 1, a 2, a... What? In God's name, multiple spears, and a Batista bomb, and Edge still proving to be a problem. I do not understand. I don't get it. Oh, good God, Big Daddy V with that Big Daddy V stomp. Oh, good God. Anyway, it appears we have a small reaction that, hey, they've realized that people are mad about this Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal because they've disabled all of the comments on the YouTube video announcing it. So clearly they are aware of people being very upset about that Battle Royal name honoring such a freaking scumbag. They're mad about it. So, they know. Don't worry. They know. Now, I've heard that apparently some of the women wrestlers who are currently there, who are being told to promote this thing, didn't know about her history, which is crazy.
Revenge? Edge is the world heavyweight champion, and taking the title from him is a lot easier said than done.
I'm sure for Batista and Mysterio, no way out can't come soon enough.
Like, it's one thing if the average fan who isn't really that in-depth to the history of wrestling, is not going to know about the stuff, but if you're actually in the business and you hadn't heard that at some point or another, like, what? Okay, I guess. It's called being a student of the game, if you will. Anyway, we unlocked a playable Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Oh boy, the Edgeheads.
Thanks for joining us this evening in Richmond, Virginia for Friday Night SmackDown. Edge has really started putting some pressure on
with the Edge face? What are you doing?
Champions Rey Mysterio and the Animal Batista.
And with no way out a few days away, I bet the World Heavyweight Champion still got plenty of tricks up his sleeve.
Well, we don't know what tonight holds for any of those three, so anything could happen.
He is the ultimate opportunist, so anything can happen. 1 month from Mania.
This weekend's pay-per-view, No Way Out, is a big night for WWE. I want to make sure you're ready, Batista, so I'm giving you a tune-up before your championship match against Edge. The Rated R Superstar even picked your opponent. You'll be facing Rey Mysterio. I wasn't so sure about it, but he said it'd be fine. Something about you owing him? You both better get ready.
Oh, that cunning Edge. He is so crafty. And finally, which is not really even a news story, so much as it's I'm not even going to mention the name of the guy who did it because it's not worth, the whole point of him doing it was to get his name out there further because he's desperate to remain relevant in some way, and he's not. But as it pertains to this supposed steroid scandal video supposedly hitting tomorrow, which I still have my doubts on that happening, and I'll be happy to finally stop having to talk about it. But a certain ex-superstar dropped into a live Instagram thing being done by Rusev yesterday or this morning or whatever, and literally asked him about this, if he was a part of this steroid scandal. It's like, really, bro? You're that desperate to stay relevant and have your name still be out there that you would do something so unbelievably petty? And I should mention the person who did this definitely should not be even having their name anywhere near the word steroids, because it seems pretty obvious that they themselves would have probably been on something along those lines. But hey, that's just, I'm not one to really judge on that, but it just, the way it looked was just rough. It's not a good look. If the only way you can keep your name out there and try to stay in any kind of headline is to slag on somebody else for an unrelated or potentially unrelated scandal, and that's the only way that you can do that, that it's just such lowest common denominator bullshit that it's not even worth mentioning the person's name because that's what they want. So screw them. Anyway, video games. I have to fight my friend. Anyway, one final thing to discuss today that I wanted to get into is that, man, it would be so perfect and so poetic if we had this match with Taker and Cena, and Taker comes out as the American badass Taker. Because, think about it, right? When John Cena was on Raw, or not, when John Cena had his first night on SmackDown, came out, fought Kurt Angle with ruthless aggression, right? And then afterwards, backstage, who shook his hand? The Undertaker. And which version of The Undertaker? The American Badass Undertaker, right? Not only that, you also have Kid Rock being put into the Hall of Fame, and Kid Rock did that song, right? So, what's to prevent them from having Kid Rock, who's already going to be there, then also have him play his song as he rides to the ring on his bike? Also, obviously, Taker at Mania last year left his gloves and hat and, you know, his iconic dead man stuff in the ring, right? So, we also saw when he came back for Raw 25, obviously, certainly still in that dead man thing, but that was Raw 25, which was a celebration of old stuff, right? But he didn't have the hat, he didn't have the gloves, right? So, it makes all of the sense in the world to bring this whole thing with Taker and John Cena full circle. That would make the video packages that much better to actually acknowledge that history between the two. And it would make all the sense in the world. The problem is that a lot of times WWE has a habit of not doing the thing that makes the most sense. You wish they would, but then they don't. So perhaps just some wishful thinking on my part in what they should do, but what they probably won't do. And hey, I would love to be wrong, and that somebody else who works there says, "Wait, that's a pretty good idea. We should do that." People would pop for that. It'd be great. But again, we'll see. We'll see.
He may have won, but neither of these superstars must feel good after that tearing into each other.
No, I totally felt bad about it.
This is
Yep.
WWE, Michael. You've got to be prepared to compete against anyone at any time.
Edge said Batista and Mysterio would owe him a few weeks ago. Now we know what he had in mind. This should lead to a dramatic main event at No Way Out.
It was friendly competition, Michael Cole. We were friends deciding who was going to be the better man here, and clearly, Batista won the matchup.
Hello and welcome to No Way Out. I'm your announcer, Michael Cole, and I'm joined at ringside by Jonathan Coachman to bring you an exciting night of WWE action.
I keep thinking about this World Heavyweight Championship match tonight. So much talent, so much bad blood.
Bad blood?
It
Where?
should be great.
Well, it's about to get even more exciting. We've received word that it's now going to be a no disqualification match.
Man, is there going to be interference from Tony or the Masked Man or some other nonsense? Or is Rey Mysterio going to cost me the match somehow, some way, because no DQ?
Tonight is all about you getting your hands on Edge. All right, dog?
Booyaka,
Yeah.
booyaka.
And it's also about me getting my hands on the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm gonna beat Edge within an inch of his miserable life, then take his precious title.
I'm not down with that no disqualification stipulation.
Yeah, the Edge
You know
heads.
Edge has to have something planned.
I hope he brings everything he's got. Keep in mind, brother, no disqualification means you can feel free to come to the ring for a closer look. You've got my blessing. Now it's time to get unleashed.
Oh, that was corny.
Quiero que sepas que te deseo suerte.
But that, my friends, will be tomorrow on the show. Plenty more things I have to get done today, and hopefully get this VR thing looked at some point today. Fingers crossed. But that's going to do it. I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos every freaking day. And I'll see you next time, right here on this channel. And I'm out.